Good afternoon and welcome to Six Flags over Georgia. And I know I probably put it in the title, and this might seem very weird to some, especially because of how many theme parks I have been to. This is my first Six Flags parks, at least in my adult years, where I am actually riding big coasters and stuff. My parents think we might have went to some when I was younger, but not enough to remember anything. We're here because if you didn't know, they just sold annual passes for the rest of this year and all of 2026 for $55 from here at Six Flags Georgia, and that gets us in at all the Cedar Fair parks, including like Cedar Point, Kings Island, Six Flags, Magic Mountain, everything. So it's an amazing deal when you really think about it. And when we saw it, we kind of impulse bought it. So we're here to process our pass for a quick little weekend trip to my first Six Flags park. Obviously, we first just walked in right over here. Entrance is around that corner. Even though it looks like that used to be the entrance, they don't use it seemingly anymore. I could see them using it for like Fright Fest or some sort of special event. Speaking of obviously, Fright Fest is going up over here as Halloween is right around the corner for a lot of these parks. Obviously, the weekend of these videos going live is gonna be Halloween Horror Nights. Obviously, we'll be back in Florida for that. But this will not be our only trip to some of the Cedar Fair Six Flags parks. We will definitely be making more. Nothing set in stone quite yet, but I do believe we are trying to do something in October for Halloween. So stay tuned for all that. But once again, I'm excited to be here. There's some rides that I'm very excited for. I'm excited to ride Goliath. Obviously, it will be my first time on a Batman for the first time. There's a few other rides here, Twisted Cyclone, obviously, that I do really want to ride. So we have about a day and a half-ish here. So we drove up from this morning and we're here around 1 o'clock. So they're open until 8 o'clock tonight, and then we'll be here most of tomorrow until a little bit towards the afternoon. So right over here, as you walk up to the right of the side of the park, you have both a Johnny Rockets, but then also Twisted Cyclone. That is the newest big coaster at the park. So this summer they did just open up a new coaster. It's not a big one. It's called Gold Rush. We'll definitely check it out in a little bit. But this is an RMC. So it's excited. This opened up in 2018, so it's not too old, but it definitely is getting up there compared to something like Iron Gwazi. So one unfortunate thing I did want to mention that recently Six Flags has changed their on-ride filming policy. Before it was a little bit more loose, you could on-ride film, but unfortunately at this time, there's no on-ride filming without permission, and we did not get permission from the park today. It's only about one ride we can bring you on today, so hopefully that doesn't impact too much. I will try to take off as much off-ride filming as possible. So we just got off Twisted Cyclone. Again, first ride on that because it's our first ride here. I thought it was actually pretty fun. It was more smooth than I thought it was going to be. It had good pops of air. It had some really fun moments on it. It definitely felt like a baby RMC. It does not feel anywhere on the realm of like Hot Rod or Iron Gwazi that we've been on recently. But it didn't staple me too bad to my seat. I know that's a big complaint with the older RMCs with the shin guards and stuff. It didn't feel too bad, and I think that was because some of the elements weren't as intense. I definitely think Hot Rod was worse for stapling you into the seat. So if you're worried about that, it wouldn't be too much on that button, but it will still itch pretty good. We're heading up to Goliath right now because it wasn't running right as we walked in, or as we were walking in it was, but then it stopped, but now it's back. So we're gonna go get on it real quick, just in case it does go down again. So some of these we are going to be getting on hopefully soon, like Log Jamboree is their log flume. This is one though, unfortunately, I do not think I'm going to ride. I value my family jewels. This is the Georgia Scorcher. It's a standing coaster, but it's an old one. So I don't like standing coasters. I'm a tall dude. You can do the math on that one. Even more decorations for Fright Fest. Again, that is coming up really soon, so it makes sense a lot of the decorations is up. We get to kind of see it during the day. It's kind of nice to see. Right off to our left is Daredevil. This is a pretty new coaster too. It is a dive coaster. Not the biggest fan of dive coasters. They're not super my thing. I just don't like straight up lifts. I hate that all the blood rushes to my head, but we'll definitely give it a try. Again, we're heading off to the right to head towards Goliath. This restaurant over here, to my knowledge, did also just get revamped. So this has all been redone over here. That's always nice to see when they redo things and make them look a little bit better. All right, so we made our way over here to the Goliath. This is my most anticipated ride here. Might not be for everyone, but I really enjoy hypers. This is obviously a B&M coaster. Obviously recently got repainted and it looks pretty nice on the front end of it. And I really like the station area. But I'm very excited to ride this, so I will let you know how I think afterwards. I'm just a big fan of hypers. I like the airtime on hypers. I love Mako and everything of that sort. So we're gonna hop on it real quick. All right, so we just got off Goliath for our first ever ride on it. I will say, I was a pretty big fan. Definitely not as good as Mako. It definitely just doesn't have the same elements that Mako does. I feel like Mako has a lot more pop moments, and I like the general feel over Mako too, and I really like the out in the walkway area too of Mako more. But I thought this was a very solid hyper. I really enjoyed it. It definitely had a rattle to it, but it wasn't too rough. I definitely think for how old this is, it definitely wasn't too bad. And I will say that one like helix type part, when you get to the bottom of that, you do feel it quite a decent amount. I got about half blacked out, but that was the only intense, really like super intense part of Goliath that I thought. The rest was pretty good. I was kind of upset about the trim on the bottom of that part with the helix. There's a trim there. Let me tell you, that trim was hot because you could smell it. So I didn't love that. I wish they didn't trim it. But I will say some of those last bumps were still really intense. So that's probably why they trimmed it, because yeah, those last bumps were really crazy. So this is the whole like 50s area. And again, they have redone some of this. It does look like the firehouse too has been recently redone. I'm not sure on the statistics on that, but I know it looks pretty fresh. So at least it's got repainted or recent-ish. I will say one thing I would really like to see, especially if this park isn't getting anything next year, I would love to see just some concrete work, some general paint job work, and just some livening up of this park. It would, I think, help the feel significantly amounts if they just went in, repaved some of this, because just look how cracked it is. I mean, it's so cracked along the walkways here. So I would love to see some pavement and also painting just some of the buildings itself. Like some of them look great. Like, I mean, the firehouse over here looks fantastic, and same with the diner. Then you get kind of over here and it's like color starts fading. Same with Daredevil. I think Daredevil really could use a repaint. Just, again, it's giving that like vibe of, it's not really had a repaint in a very long time, and it's just been sun bleached so bad. So we made our way down to Gotham City. That is in a walkway down here. A few different flat rides down here. We do have a Poison Ivy one. Obviously, you're seeing Mindbender right there. That's the red alert. We will ride that here in just a moment. But actually, this area redone fairly recently, I believe, so it's actually not looking too bad. They do have a giant stunt show stadium over here that, to my knowledge, has not been used in a very long time, and that is sad to see because I think it could be really good. Then they do have Catwoman's Wheel. That's one of those like enterprise, like make you go flying off the ride type thing. But the first one we're gonna ride back here is Batman. Again, this is my first time on a Batman. Obviously been recreated at a lot of different Six Flags throughout the years. So this is obviously a B&M suspended. There's some great theming in this too. That's why I wanted to bring you guys in. And it's pretty intense. Batman is one of the more GFest heavy coasters, period, that Six Flags has. And it opened back in 1997 at Six Flags Over Georgia. So I believe it is one of the older Batmans that are out there. I'm really honestly impressed that it seems like they've redone a lot of the effects, so all the toxic waste heading down this way, heading into the Gotham like plant. Going all the way down to that reservoir there. Get some actually solid theming on this. Again, this was a pretty old ride, and it's definitely lost probably some of its theming throughout the times, but it still very much holds up for theming compared to a lot of the other stuff in this park. I will tell you one thing, they have prepped for lines in this park, man. I'm so glad we are here when it's so unbelievably slow. Look at that queue line, that cattle pin's crazy. So far today, we have walked onto every single ride. We've even walked onto front rows already, so it has been a very low capacity day. Crowd calendar wise, oh, that's cool. Looks like light switch when it's actually dispatching down here too. I know they do in the station, didn't know they did it down here. Crowd calendars even showing that it's less busy tomorrow when we are also here in the morning into a little bit into the afternoon. So definitely stay tuned. We'll let you know how slow it really is. But we're really enjoying our time here, especially with the low crowds. This is quite the queue line too, our station area. Super well themed still. Looks like it got repainted not too long ago. Does seem like there used to be music that used to play in here, but it is not currently playing, and that is upsetting to see. But otherwise, this queue line's fantastic. So we're heading on Batman. So we just got off Batman. I will say, not as sickening as I anticipated it being. I won't say it's not intense. I don't get super sick on roller coasters. I'm not somebody that vomits after every coaster. There are certain coaster types I really do not like for a reason of me getting dizzy. And honestly, suspended B&Ms are one of those that I just usually try to avoid. But actually, this didn't feel too bad. It didn't rattle too bad. I will say this thing is intense beyond belief. It gets 4 Gs when I looked it up, and it can definitely hold that 4 Gs a lot. It hits that 4 Gs a ton or very close to it. It actually was so much that when we were riding, you could feel the blood actually moving through your legs down to your feet as you were riding. It actually was pulling on your legs so hard. That you could feel it. And same with your face, you could feel your face moving down multiple times throughout the ride. So yeah, I won't say this isn't intense, but I would say if you've never ridden a Batman, I would definitely give it a try if you get the chance. I will warn you, brakes on this thing are really, really tight. So we've experienced that already on almost everything. Brakes, hold on, because they're gonna stop you. So next up is the Riddler Mindbender. This is a very old coaster, I believe. One of the oldest in the park. This is a Schwarzkopf coaster. I want to say I'm saying that right. Manufacturer no longer exists, so it's very unique to get in, and I'm very glad I got to ride it. With its future being very uncertain, I feel like this is definitely something that I could see given way here in the future. But we're going to head on it for a second ride. We're going to do both of these back to back. Probably not a great idea, but again, no waits. We are literally walking into every single ride, and that's always nice to see.
Easy.
So I'm gonna be a bud when I tell you this. Don't ride both of those back to back. That's a bad idea. I don't feel too bad. My dad definitely feels way more dizzy than I do. I think it was a combo of both. This Mindbender does hit G's. I think it hits like 5.2 when I looked it up. It's an intense ride. So it doesn't sustain it as much as Batman. Obviously Batman, we sustained 4 Gs almost the whole time, all throughout those bottom of those loops and stuff. This only probably hit that like 5 Gs, 5.2, couple times, but when you hit those, it's intense. So that's a warning. I would not do these both back to back unless you have a very high tolerance, or you will feel a little funny. But I actually didn't think it was too bad. If I rode it not after riding Batman, I don't think I would have thought it was too bad of intensity. Definitely still hits a lot of G's. I probably still would have felt it, but it wasn't that bad. I will warn you, number one thing I can tell you about that ride, hold on to your lap bar when you hit the brake run. That is the sharpest, most aggressive brakes I've ever experienced on a coaster. Like, it hit my stomach so hard, it still hurts. It was a few minutes after. If you are already feeling bad and you hit that brake run and it hits your stomach as hard as it does, I can see that ending very bad. So hold on to the front of the car, seat in front of you, or hold on to your lap bar when you hit that brake run. It is unbelievably sharp, like an instant stop. I will film it and show it up on screen, show you how fast that car stops. And it's just a lap bar right against your stomach, so it just slams you in. So that's my warning there. And undoubtedly, the saddest part of this park is you see, as soon as you enter Gotham City down here, Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster was a very short-lived kids coaster over here, and it's very sad that I didn't get to ride it because we saw these at IAAPA probably 2 years ago and thought they were fascinating coasters. So they're a single rail, but it has LED panels all along the side of the single rail, so it can have different effects. So from my knowledge, it had like lightning effects as the train went past all of the sections and stuff. And it was also set up very interesting. As you can see, there's 2 lift hills, 2 drive lift hills. It wasn't a dueling coaster. So instead you would load from one side, it would go up, do its lap, but then it would enter from the other side and then it would do its lap again, I believe. So very sad. It did not operate for very long. It was plagued with a ton of technical issues. It was really bad to my knowledge, and it is now standing but not operating, and I believe will be demolished probably within the next year or two. So it's very sad to see that this coaster design really didn't pan out like they wanted to, because it looks really cool and I really wish we got to ride it. So we made our way back up here from Gotham. One thing I totally forgot to mention, they have set up all the house fronts. Conjuring's actually right back over there next to the Goliath entrance for what I'm assuming is a house. But we're heading back down into a section of the park we haven't been to yet. After all those coasters, we are definitely taking a break from coasters at the moment. We might hop on like the mine train or something in a little bit, but I think we'll leave the other big coasters for tomorrow because we're just feeling quite a little sick after that. Oh, and there's actually the train stop right down there. So the train's actually parked in here. Thought it's down here, so we might just hop in line. So we'll just hop on the train and take it around. I don't know really where it goes. I'm assuming it's just a lap, and it doesn't have any other stops, but we'll find out.
Welcome aboard the Six Flags Over Georgia Trail. They call me the Texas, and I'm the train engine that'll be taking you on a trip around this beautiful main scene. All these campaigns fit inside these here train cars, and we're trying to get up and get off of this train while I'm safe. Sure, we direct right now as we come up to the spot where over 800 Slider members of our family enter the park to make sure you have a good day and a fun time here at Six Flags. Let's just take a second to say hey. Now, you keep hearing me mention family, because that's what we are. And there ain't many old relics left that have been here with me since Open Train has been here since the beginning. Remember that the dawn of the Georgia Gold Rush of 1828, which just happened to be the very first gold rush in the history. Welcome aboard the Six Flags Over Georgia Trail. They call me the Texas. I'm the train engine. blasted out of the sea by a gay crusader with no patience for those who commit crime. So now, over to your high-ticket seatbelt and sit. Open up the church with your mister, and come and get on the course. Sometimes you've got to
Well, it does have at least 2 stops. We did end up getting off over here closer to Twisted Cyclone again, so we're back towards the front of the park. Over here is currently the Sergeant Roberts Rip. I don't even know. It's like a dive school. It's a drop tower. I believe it is a standing drop tower. That is nightmarish for me, and I will not be riding it. I do believe they are open. They'd have nobody waiting in line though, so that's pretty telling. It has started to sprinkle on us again. It did, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, it poured on us on our way up here. We thought it was gonna be a rainy day all day. Luckily, so far, hasn't been too bad. So hopefully it keeps up with that for the rest of today and tomorrow, but it has started sprinkling. But I do not believe it's affecting any ride operation quite yet. So as we walk down this way, there is the VIP lounge for any Diamond Pass holders. There's like free drinks, I think a free like snack or something in there or something. The mine train ride is right down here. We might ride it here in a little bit. We're gonna go do a couple other things before we get back on any coasters. Again, we were really taken out by those two. Of course, they have Dippin' Dots in this park. Any park, I feel like nowadays, besides like Disney has Dippin' Dots. But they have a lot of different little spots over here. Some vintage photography, stuff you would see probably in a lot of Six Flags parks. On our right, we do have one of the kids areas over here too, with a few different smaller rides and play areas and stuff. Good for the kids. I love always seeing those because I always think it's good for families. We're heading over here for the one ride we can bring you on is Monster Plantation. That is their old indoor dark ride. So we're very excited to ride that. We'll walk through here soon, but this is one of the newer kids areas. This is DC Super Friends. This is very much like more like young teen kind of feeling, a little bit more like kind of intense, smaller rides and flat rides. But here is the Monsters Mansion.
Hey y'all, it's time to make your best monster face, so smile for the party. 1, 2.
I'm your hostess, Mrs. Scully. Y'all have a good time at Disney now.
Howdy, y'all. Marshal Billy Bob Fritter here saying, as you travel and float, keep your hands on the boat. gosh, I like a party. No, you dang fools! This way! Stay out of the marsh! Stay out of the marsh! Oh no! Ready? Centimeter, light that fuse! Ready, aim, and fire! Oh, yeah! Lucky for you guys, I found this here cannon.
Everyone counted for? Good, good. So happy everyone made it out of that scare.
So we just got off our ride. Obviously, you saw Monster Mansion, not Plantation. I imagine they changed that for obvious reasons. That was a very well kept dark ride, considering the first edition of it opened in the 60s. Doesn't seem like it got changed into the current version of it until the 80s. But very well kept, looked great. Low key, actually kind of scary, not knowing at all what was coming in that ride. I've only seen like very small clips. So not knowing anything, the marsh part was actually quite spooky. Man, that is a great old dark ride. Just like my dad said, that is one of the rides though, you ride and you look at some of those characters and you're like, they were definitely smoking something very strong when they thought of this ride. It's just like riding E.T., going to the home planet. You're just sitting there and you're like, interesting character design, yes. Just a whole lot of everything going on. But what a great dark ride. We're definitely gonna hit this up a couple more times before the end of our trip. Thought we'd quickly walk down here into DC Super Friends. To my knowledge, this is a pretty new-ish kids area. Again, it's kind of like a mixture of, yeah, some smaller kids can definitely go on it, but there's like the mixture of the drop tower over here that definitely kind of makes it feel like it's a little bit of a bigger kids area, though there is some stuff still for smaller ones, like the back copters over there. And then over here, they do have the Joker's Fun House. Unfortunately, at this time, does not seem like it is functional. We have not seen it go around at all, so I'm assuming it is not open currently. Hopefully, it's not closed the whole time we're gone, or the whole time we're here, not gone. But they do have like a trash can in front of the exit. I would assume that's not the entrance. I'm not sure where the entrance is, but I would say this is not open because the line is blocked by a trash can. It is kind of like a kiddie coaster, but I would say it's a little bit more than a kiddie coaster. A little bit more intense, not by like a ton, but it definitely does have a little bit more of a thrill to it than like a small little kiddie coaster. So, and then as you head down from the DC superhero kids area, The entrance for the newest coaster, Gold Rush, is right over there. You can see the entrance side. It goes down this way, and then the pathway is all the way down here. Again, this is brand new, just opened this summer. It is the only thing in this park with a seemingly line. I think we're gonna hold off to ride this till tomorrow, because again, crowd calendars are showing tomorrow literally being nobody here. So that's exactly what we're hoping for. And as one fun fact too with this is actually the first Intamin Ultra Surf. So it's gonna, obviously we're gonna be showing clips right now, but it goes up on the spikes, comes down, does a big splash, goes up on the spikes, and then it spins also. So we made our way over here into Metropolis. It is starting to rain actually pretty hard on us now. There's 2 rides in this park I will not ride, unfortunately. Stand-up coaster we saw earlier and Superman's Flight. I do not like flying coasters. They are the one coaster that really do make me sick. So I will not be doing that. But to avoid the rain, we're gonna head into Justice League Battle for Metropolis. We've heard these are really cool dark rides, so we're really excited to ride it again. This is both of ours first time riding it, so we're pretty excited for all this.
The rest of the Justice League within the hour, and then it's just a matter of time until the whole of justice is our new headquarters. Oh, those red and blue banners back there would be the first thing to go. They're totally hideous.
No better than to trust that guy. And the Joker is obviously off his rocker, but Luthor's incredible intellect makes him just as dangerous. Oh, speaking of blasters, the RTVs are outfitted with multifunctional blasters that can shoot EMP waves that deactivate electronics and destroy inert objects. Fortunately, they only stun human targets and won't cause any permanent injury. Regardless, you should use these blasters with caution because they are really powerful.
All right, so we just got the battle for Metropolis. Actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So I've heard they very much let this ride go, and I don't know in what aspects they did besides one, because I just don't know what it was like when it originally opened. I would say if they could go in and update these Battle for Metropolises, this would be a stellar shooting dark ride. I'm sure when it opened, this was groundbreaking for a park like this, and I know it was. But for the current us riding it, projectors were very dim. It was very old school animation looking, and it didn't look great. But a lot of the practical scenes were really well done. There was a lot of cool practical effects. There was fire, there was like rolling barrels. There was a Joker animatronic that looked really good, actually, especially when compared to the one inside the queue line for Cyborg. So there's some updating that could be happening that could make this ride so much better. The one thing that I really didn't like, and the number one by far, was there was no background music. I don't know if that's the case for all of them. I don't know if the music's broken, if they lost licensing for it or something. It was very awkward at points in the ride because there was no music. So there was points where you would be driving through like an in-between scene, and there's just like nothing. You're just no noise, no nothing. So would love to see them work on that. Obviously, we're coming right over here to look over the Great American Scream Machine. This is their big wooden. This was my second most anticipated coaster. I love woodens, just like I love hypers. Don't know if we'll end up getting on it today or if we're gonna look for it tomorrow. But we thought we'd walk over here to the entrance quickly of Hurricane Harbor. It has closed for the season, but this is their in-park water park. So I do believe you have to have a ticket both to this, but if you're an annual pass holder, you do just like get into the water park here. It's not big, it's pretty small, but they have a decent collection of slides. They have a big kids play area here at the front. And they do have Six Flags does own another water park not too far from this, but this is the one included in the park. Yeah, so we just came down from, or came up from right there. We just walked back up by Gold Rusher. And this is kind of another little kids area with a few flat rides and stuff. Then there's the Hanson ride that is the old antique cars. We love these type of rides. So we're gonna bring you guys up and on. The wheel even work, or we just bounce it back and forth? So we just got done on the Hanson ride. Obviously, that's a very historic ride. It's not very long at all. Just do the little thing. And there is no control on the cars. You can't steer or hardly stop it. But it is a nice little ride. It's obviously a big part of history here. But this is pretty. I don't think I've seen a carousel this pretty in a while. This is very old-fashioned. This feels like something that would be in like one of the European parks. And look at this thing. It's so pretty in here. This is definitely a highlight. My dad just also mentioned it, but this park's done a really good job at having family areas. And I feel like Six Flags isn't known for that, but there's two giant kids areas. Then over here on the hill, there's like little kids rides, and then obviously carousel right behind me. But I feel like this park has a pretty good selection for families. And I love to see that. I definitely even think they could do more of it. Seems like that is a massive clientele for this park, and I think they could even do better. But we'll get some clips of the carousel running. No wonder this carousel is so awesome. This is the Riverview Carousel. It was built in 1908. It's probably seen some livelihood and some work done on it, but man, no wonder it's so pretty. It's so old. That's over 100 years old. It's almost 120 in just a couple years. That is crazy that still stands up here on the top. I really will applaud Six Flags for holding this park and keeping a lot of its classic roots to it. I mean, with the carousel, Monster Mansion really keeping up with its maintenance, and it looks really great. They did such a great job with this park, and it's really impressed me so far. So we made our way past Great American Scream Machine, and over here is our last coaster we've yet to take a look at, and it is Blue Hawk. This is an old Vekoma. I'm not that interested in riding it. This is another one that I'm sure there's some fans out there for it, but this is not a ride that really interests me. I don't love old Vekomas or old B&Ms unless it's kind of a historic ride, and this is not really one. So I will most likely be skipping out on this one unless I'm really compelled to do it tomorrow. And then we're heading into our last section of the park that is right down here. Not a whole lot going on down here right now. I can definitely see expansions happening down in this part of the park. So we don't have a ton other than Blue Hawk that's right behind us. We do have like a sky screen right up here. These do not interest me either. I find these horrifying. So I don't know if I'm alone in that endeavor, but just little chains holding me with that much force being exerted, it kind of scares me. So I'm not that interested in it. I've never ridden the Starflyer at Icon back in Orlando for a reason. So I will say Blue Hawk actually over the water is very pretty. I like the look over here of it, as you can see. But again, this is the type of coaster to beat the living crap out of you with no hesitation on the beating the living crap out of you. So I'm not a big fan of those. Yeah, that's the Sky Screamer on our left. Does look like there's a few food options down here. There is smoked turkey legs if you're a turkey leg person. I am definitely not. But if you are, they are down here all the way in the back side of the park. We are like in the back, like corner bottom pocket of the park. Again, there's not a whole lot back here. It actually looks like there's a little Old West show going up over here. But I could definitely see this getting some major renovations in the future back here. You could easily put some sort of new like the new Mac coaster or something back here, themed it to like a mine cart kind of experience. It would be very easy, and they have a ton of room. Giant pavilions actually back there straight across. That seems to be for like events and stuff. Easily could take out that and put a massive coaster back here, or even a family one. I would love to see too.
Oh my goodness! You boys blew up my brother! I'm gonna rain down on you like a ton of bricks! Hop along! Pull the red Oh, the pain! Oh, the humidity! Oh, the air conditioning! Bleh.
Tell you what, Leon, you clean up this mess. And you folks come back to see us, because that's all there is, and there ain't no more!
So back over here, they do have a nice shaded area too for this show. Very much seems like a kid's show. Got some smaller benches up front for little ones. They do actually run a decent amount of times for this show. I always like to see shows in these kind of parks because these are the kind of parks to cut entertainment pretty heavily. So I always like to see them. They do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as of today. This is a Saturday, so definitely tomorrow we can definitely see some different times for that, if any at all. Then in here they do have a eatery. Pretty nicely themed actually. This looks pretty newly done. I could be wrong about that. I would love if someone would correct me, but it's looking very nice in here. They do just have burgers, tenders, chicken salad. They have a turkey leg that I'm imagining is the same turkey leg from the other one. And then they have onion rings and seasoned fries. Not a massive selection in here, but again, it's actually pretty nicely themed in here with a decent amount of indoor seating areas. That's always good, especially when it's hot out. Does also look like they have funnel cakes down here. Doesn't look like it was open at any point today, but they also have fried Oreos, so that's interesting. I believe the S's also next to this stuff means that it's considered a side or like a dessert. So if you buy the dining plan, that you can even do it with your pass for like $200 something or something. Works at all the parks once again. You can buy like one that's like 1 meal a day and 1 side, or like 2 meals a day and 2 sides. But there's all that. This is kind of an odd thing. I don't know if they ever had a cable car here. I would have to look that up because they have Skyview Pavilion and it's got a cable car, like a Sky Ride. I don't know if that ever existed back here or not. It's kind of interesting. They do just have some more shop swag and stuff back here, and then they have the one ride that we're going to talk about right now. So I was just doing a little bit of research while I'm with my dad. They did have a cable car ride. It was called Sky Buckets, and it operated until 2020, so COVID. I did not know that. I won't say like I knew a lot about this park. I knew relatively like the big rides. I didn't know a lot about some of the kids areas and stuff like that. That's just not something I really know about. But that's something interesting that I didn't even know about, and I think it's funny that this sign back here kind of memorializes it. And I wonder if they left this up on purpose or if it was kind of like accidental. So as you probably heard me on the car ride, there's a Totino's Cantina. This is odd. I've never seen this before. They have a few things. They just have some like loaded nachos, and they also have a walking taco. That's basically it. They also have some Cheetos popcorn. I just thought that was weird. So this seems to be one of the newer additions to Six Flags Over Georgia, and this is Pandemonium. It is one of those like swinging, spinning pendulum rides. Again, this is not my thing either. I don't like spinning rides. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm Dr. Picky Pants over here. But some of these thrill parks don't interest me as much as some other parks that have a lot more overall attractions. But this looks like a great themed area. It seems much more steampunk than the more Western area that was over to the side. That definitely felt more Western. And it seems like they're almost planning to build more steampunk stuff back here. If in a perfect world where they would expand this park and have a lot of money to do it, I would love a full steampunk land back here. Build a family coaster that would be such a great fit for this park. Like I'm thinking Big Bear, you know, that kind of style of family coaster. Theme it to like a steampunk engineer. Build another flat ride, maybe one for a little bit smaller children. Build a new restaurant back here. This would be a great area to expand, and they have the room for it, it seems like. So I understand Six Flags probably isn't giving this park much money at this point, if any at all. So I understand that could be something that they want to do, but don't have the money for it. But again, this is overall a pretty nicely themed area. All the way back here, kind of by itself in the corner, you can actually see the parking lot off to our left here, and all the way to the left there, you can actually see Batman over there. So over here is the entrance to Thunder River. I wanted to first mention how cool this sign is. Look, it says Thunder there, and a river off to the side. It looks like it was supposed to open today, but now it's saying that it's currently unavailable. I don't know if that means maybe it'll open tomorrow. We don't think the water rides have closed this season. We also got here and the log flume was running, but very soon after when we got in, they did close and they've had maintenance in there all day. So unfortunately, we've missed both the water rides. I'm really hoping at least one of them opens tomorrow. I think the log flume will. We really wanted to ride Thunder River because we're a big fan of rapids, but I just don't know if that's gonna happen. So we've started to make our full circle now. Again, there's still a lot of like Fright Fest stuff up down in here. I haven't been showing as much. Maybe I'll show more tomorrow as we're walking around. But here is the new entrance site for Georgia Gold Rush. Again, I think we're keeping this till tomorrow. It has picked up a little bit in busyness this afternoon, probably because locals are coming out for the afternoon on the Saturday and stuff. We're expecting tomorrow to be much less crowds, even though there has been very little crowds today. So we'll definitely be getting on Georgia Gold Rush tomorrow. So check out that video here, uploaded soon. All right, so we came over here to ride the mine train. So this is the, oh goodness gracious, the Dahlonega mine train. An old mine train, it's got 3 lift hills, it's pretty unique. So I'm gonna go give it a ride and I'll let you know what I think. I'll get some off-ride footage for you the best I can. It's kind of in a weird spot.
Don't think you're going on this ride again.
Okay, I will say that was a rough ride. I was the only one in the car. I sat in the back, so it could have made it worse that I was sitting in the back. I just thought it would be funny to sit in the back with that long mine train car. It is a very strong slap to the side type coaster. Like, they were, especially the ending drop, you go through that tunnel, smacks you against the side. But I think it made it worse. The restraints on them are interesting. It's like the whole car shares the same level of restraint. So like when they push down one restraint, pushes down all of them. So everyone kind of has to be the same size, or you're going to end up some really oddly shaped restraints, if you get what I'm saying. But in total, it ended up being really, really rough. But it was only really bad on a couple parts. It wasn't as bad as the overall, but the restraints were pretty uncomfortable. Brakes, watch out for those brakes, man. Almost all the rides we've ridden in this place have very sharp brakes. Watch out for Batman's brakes. Watch out for Mindbender's brakes. Watch out for the Mine Train brakes. Just hold in front of you. Don't let it just smack you in the stomach. It will hurt really bad. But I don't think it was a bad ride. Definitely a good one for families and stuff. It probably left a little bruise on my right buttocks, but you know, sometimes there's a price to pay. One other thing, as I was filming some off-ride footage that I wanted to mention about this that I thought was interesting. So obviously it comes down right here and goes down through this first building over here. This isn't a show building. This is the maintenance barn. I just think that's interesting. And there's even like the track switch and stuff on the other end on that side. I just think it's super interesting to see. You don't normally go through maintenance barns on a ride, so it's just funny. So since we came back here to film a little off-ride footage, I thought I would quickly show you the little Looney Tunes area. It's like a Coyote Acme right over here. That's just like one of those like little like roundabout rides for little ones that's probably gonna take like 2 laps. Just around like a little desert area. There is one of these spinning boat rides that are like these water rides and you shoot each other while they spin around. These are very popular in the US to my knowledge. They are definitely more popular in Europe. But there is one over here if you're interested. And then there is like one of those like mini like bouncing spinning rides over there too. Then a little drop tower too behind us and one of those, what would you call that? Like it's almost like a mini Ferris wheel, I guess. I don't know, like one of those little mini kid Ferris wheels. And then there's obviously a food location. There's also a little like arcade that also goes straight through to DC Super Friends. So both the kids areas are kind of connected. That I do think is kind of cool. So if your kids are playing in this area, they can just walk in between instead of walking back up the hill, back around, and then down here. You can just walk in between here. Alrighty, so I made my way over here to the Great American Scream Machine. This is their wooden coaster. So we thought we'd end our night with it. We're just less than an hour from park close, but we have really done a lot today. We also had the drive up from like 5 o'clock in the morning, so we're pretty wiped. Yeah, we do have another day here, but we're gonna go hop on this as our final ride of the night. Well, I first want to say a couple things. So, obviously I rode. I love woodens. They're honestly some of my favorite coaster types. I just love the vibe of them, the feel. I love the intensity of the air time and the big dip moments and stuff like this. And this ride has it. I would say the layout is very, very fun. This ride is a soul shaker, dude. It is insane how much it shakes. Like, it is brutal. Like, there's probably worse out there. There's no way there's not worse. But it's a very shaky ride. So if you don't like shaky rides, don't go on this. But if you don't mind shaky rides, it's pretty fun. But again, super shaky. Didn't really diminish my experience with it. I still really like this ride. It's probably one of my favorites in the park. The layout, super fun, super long, had a lot of airtime hills, in general fun. I will say one thing, if you're a bigger person, you probably will not be able to ride this. I would definitely check. I don't think they have a check seat. It is a tight seat. I wouldn't consider myself huge. I'm definitely a big boy, but I'm not huge. It was a tight seat for me. So not necessarily restraints, the actual like width of the seat is very small. So there's something to keep in mind if you are coming to ride this. But that's the case for some of the rides here too, is it's Six Flags. It's not as accommodating as some other parks. I do wish that we were here during Fright Fest, because I bet this ride is open during Fright Fest, and they have giant spotlights. You can actually see one right there, but it's all along the track and stuff. I bet this lights up really cool at night. So again, big bone shaker, but I overall really enjoyed the ride. I thought it was a really fun wooden. The layout was great. Obviously, this is very old. 1973 to be an exact date. So yeah, this ride's very old. So it kind of makes sense. You know, it is over 50 years old now. It kind of adds up why it's so much. It was made by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. I felt like the trains were newer than the 70s though. It seemed like they might have gotten new trains at some point, but I can't find any info on it. So let me know again. Let me know if you know that. But again, really old ride. Really fun if you don't mind a little bit of a bone shaker. Well, after quite a long day, we've made our way back up here to the front. We've had a very long day. If you can't tell, we've been up since like 5 o'clock in the morning. I took a small nap in the car. Otherwise, we've been walking miles at this park. And we are Floridians, so these hills are death sentences to our calves and our ankles. So we're done for the day. Only about 30 minutes to close, so we're not leaving too early, but we got a ton done. Like actually way more than we thought we were gonna. We really didn't expect it to be as slow as it was today. We really thought it was gonna be, you know, slow, but not dead. It was dead today for the most part. There was definitely a part where it picked up in the afternoon, but at this point in the day, it is dead. At the point where we were at, it was dead. Supposedly due to, according to crowd calendars, tomorrow will be even less busy. So that'll be like a couple days from the video you're seeing right now. So stay tuned for that. We'll be eating in the park. We'll be riding anything we didn't ride. We're hoping that a couple of the water rides really open. We're really hoping that we can get a couple of the water rides in. I don't think the River Rapids will open, Thunderfall or Thunder River, but the log flume was operating at a point in the day, so we're hoping it goes back to operating. But again, overall, really blew me away today. I don't have a whole lot of expectations for Six Flags parks. Obviously, again, first time at a Six Flags park, but from what I hear, it's always like, you know, I always get the feeling. And there are some rides in this park that I definitely feel about. Like I'm not a big heavy coaster fan. You know, I don't like really intense coasters, but they had some other stuff for other people, including Goliath right behind me. That was definitely my favorite coaster of the day. I'll give you my full ranking on the next video of what my favorite rides and favorite attractions and favorite coasters in the parks were. But I would love to see more put into this park. I would love to see more family rides, more family coasters. I think that would really help their lineup. I didn't mention it earlier, but I definitely think Scream Machine could really use some retracking. If they could put some money into retracking that thing, I think it would be so much better. So thanks for watching. This video brought a more joined here today, and we'll see you guys next time.